Everyone, this is episode 481 of OotiniCast being recorded on the 24th. There it is. It is working on the 24th of January 2024. And this is the raw version of the show going out with all flubs and flaws and all that good stuff. And then we will clean up the audio and put it out as a podcast tomorrow. And also the video will, when we're done with it, will be put up on YouTube as well.
No.
481.
I should send you this, the Blizz emote that I have. It's perfect for OotiniCast.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, I just tweeted it out. And
it's perfect for
that's cute.
In chat. Houdini. It would be funny if we could have him close his eyes, like blink them.
Blink, 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 blink. Wait, except they don't blink, do they?
Do they?
I don't think so. I always thought they
were... I
were...
don't think they do either.
Yeah, no, I think they're like... It's hard to tell if they're actually really eyes or if they're like some sort of device, actually. You know what I mean? Like a lighting device that they actually use over their eyes or whatever. I mean, that's part of it.
As a kid, I always thought it was like bioluminescence.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Then as I got older, I thought that maybe they did some sort of, like how the Tusken Raiders have their face wrapped.
Right.
I thought that
and
maybe
they have like goggles,
sort of.
Some sort of goggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
But,
it's a good look, whatever it is.
It's so cool.
All right. And you ready to go, Kitty?
I was scared of Jawas when it first came out. It's like,
well, they're meant to be a little like frightening
to a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be, they aimed it partly at kids. So, all right.
All right. Let me go to Twitter. Did you post up on Twitter?
I did. It should be up.
Go. All right. I am reposting.
All right. Let me have a little water and then we'll get going.
Yes.
Waiting for the big inhale and cough.
I almost made a joke.
But I was like, I think of that.
I can't do that because I don't want you to choke.
And the funny thing is, like, I don't, I don't think about it most of the time or when I stream even, but when right there, because I did it at the start of the OotiniCast, like 10, 15 OotiniCasts ago, I still think about it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I make
it was brutal.
I make an effort to shut up when you're drinking on purpose. If I ever see you drinking, I just go,
that's funny.
Don't talk.
Don't. All right. Going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that will only make it 33% of the way before we are killed. This is episode 481, being recorded on Wednesday, January 28th, 2024. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hey, Chill. Nice to see you.
I think I could see you recognize the quote.
Yeah, in real time.
In real time. That was awesome.
It's really funny because I just watched that yesterday.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody playing along in chat. But
okay.
When I was watching that, I was thinking, first of all, it's a great movie, a great Star Wars movie, but it's just a great movie.
Yeah, it really is.
It is a solid from start to finish.
Yep.
Great.
Really beautifully
movie.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. So
what you been up to?
Well, watching Rogue One.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a couple days to clean up around the house and do a couple things, and I like to put the movie on with the description narrative going.
Oh, okay.
So that I don't have to be watching in order to kind of enjoy the movie. Although I've always liked watching movies and just listening to the sound.
Right. Which is nice too. Yeah, you hear a lot that way.
Yeah, especially with watching the Star Wars movies lately with Disney Plus on the computer with my headphones on. The sound is phenomenal.
That is nice, yeah.
So much more intense. watching those movies.
So you have the description, like the description for the blind.
Yeah.
Nice. So
I started listening to that.
So it'll say something like, Vader chokes, blah 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 blah,
as Vader reaches his hand out. I always think of Krennic's ship. A wishbone-shaped ship flies into the atmosphere of the planet.
Nice.
It's like perfect descriptions. And I was thinking about, where do they get that? Is that from the script, or is that from like?
Do they just have someone
in charge of that?
Right. Do they have just someone who's like relatively well written or whatever, and just do that as a writing exercise? Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting too, is when they're describing it, sometimes I will have misinterpreted what they're describing. I'm like, oh no, I thought that they were mad, but they're
upset, or they're
sad, like in a sad look, blah blah blah, looks at blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, I thought he was pissed. I thought he was angry.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so been as well as you, surviving the ice storms.
Yeah,
and came to the harsh reality that as long as we have electricity and we have the internet, I'm good. Both Kitty and I are good.
Yep.
Because when we lost power for a little while, things got a little rocky.
Right.
For about 15 minutes, they were, uh-oh, what are we going to do? And, of course, the power turned off, but yeah. So as long as I have the electricity and the internet, I think we're good. Just today, I finished listening to the Darth Bane trilogy.
Yep. I have that one on audio. Mm-hmm.
So good.
It really is.
It is so good. I might even listen to it again.
Yeah.
I was thinking, which one do you have?
Well, I've had it for a long, I have the whole trilogy, but I'm not sure how many versions there are, but I have the one on Audible, but I've had it for at least 10 years. So it's like whatever version was available then. And I don't know if they have new ones or not, but
okay. I think it's the same one.
They do such a good job with all the Star Wars stuff, because they add lightsaber and blaster sound effects and ship sound effects and certain
music.
Atmospheric sound effects. Like sometimes, there'll be like crowd noises or Vader's breathing or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then of course they add the music, which is big, big, big.
Well, then never mind me because I was gonna send you a copy in Audible. You already have it.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, that's what you were talking about. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because I know that you
meant Darth Bane. Yeah. You just said a Bane book, and I thought, is there like I didn't know if that was like a part of the title or something. But
no.
Yeah, no, I really like the Darth Bane trilogy. Really,
I can't wait to talk to you about it after you listen to it.
Sweet.
It's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I started a new character today, and she is what would Bane do with choices.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. But I'm starting her off like Bane was at the start of the book, and by the end of the story, she will be what Bane was at the end of the book.
Do you have Orbalisk armor?
Oh yeah, I could get the Orbalisk armor. You're right.
You'll have to.
I do. I'll have to get it. I'll have to check it out.
At least for some part of it.
Yeah, well, when I do it, I usually do it as, as the person, not necessarily the exterior or a look or anything like that. But yeah,
but in this case,
is very important.
Yeah,
that's a big thing that happened to him.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah. That's really wild.
So I've been having fun. Made a Marauder. She's on Satil Shan.
Okay.
And I'm still playing Martha Ragnos.
In the books, does he dual wield? Is that why you chose Marauder? I don't remember if he dual wielded or not.
No, I dual wield because I wanted to play Marauder.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because I seem to remember him being more of like the big, like he was physically big, and he just used, in addition to the Force, he used his physical might with a single lightsaber to just overwhelm people, including other Force users sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
So so I think he's more of a Juggernaut then, Jug.
Yeah, he would have definitely been
Guardian.
a Jug.
Yeah,
I think but like I said, I don't really take any. I'm taking his like personality and putting it into whatever I want.
Nice.
Because sometimes if I if I'm space Barbieing and I limit myself to having it a certain way, I get bored with the character, and then I'm like, I don't want to play this. I'm such a superficial nerd. But anyway, funny. So I'm playing that one, and I'm also playing Martha Ragnos, and she's in the chapters. And I think Pyrotech finally clicked for me. Like, I get it. I get the rotation. Nice. It's really fun. It
is a fun one.
I like it. Yeah,
I love when that dot bounces around to people. Like you knock off one and the dot drops to the next person. So you knock that one off and then it jumps to the next person.
It's really cool.
It's very satisfying. Yeah,
it is. The only problem that I have with it is that on some NPCs, that ability doesn't show up like the fire blasting down.
Like if they're huge or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to kind of keep an eye on your their utility bar or whatever it is.
I always feel that dot with its fire blasting down on the top of their head. It looks like the most painful looking animation in the game. Like it looks brutal.
It reminds me of...
It's like Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Right. It reminds me of being a teenager and having spiked hair and having to Aquanet it up and blast my head with a hairdryer.
That's funny.
So yeah, Martha Ragnos, having a lot of fun. Came to the conclusion that I'm not going to be finishing this PvP season.
Okay.
So I bought up to level 10 to get some of the stuff. But,
nice.
I just didn't feel it this season.
Okay.
I think it was the rewards. I was like,
okay. So
and I also think that the Satil or the Shea Vizsla server kind of put a dent in my
because you're
time
right. You're playing a lot on that server. Yeah.
It was really fun. But anyway, I want to get into this server. I've got a character over on Starforge ready, you on the pub side, and I know you have a character over there too. So we can get some PvP going once this next season starts.
Nice.
Whenever that is. Lastly, I have been making a lot of focaccia bread. And
tasty.
I'm wondering if Jody is going to start getting sick of focaccia bread. She just said, I don't think that's possible. But man, it's
good stuff.
I've been trying different recipes and they haven't been turning out, and watching videos. And I used to do it professionally. I would make focaccia bread every day when I came into work. But for whatever reason, it didn't work here at home. So I started fitting with certain recipes, doing my own thing. And
like the recipe you knew just wasn't coming out right?
Well, I didn't use that recipe. I didn't want to use that recipe because I don't know, just it was too labor intense, and I don't have a mixer. So
you're trying other recipes.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of fiddling, huh?
Yeah, it took a lot of tinkering with the recipe, and I got it now, and it's so good. It's so good. Like, I'm thinking about right now, like, I can't wait to get done with the show and start eating focaccia bread.
That's nice.
But yeah, that's it for me.
That's great.
Jill, I'm gonna pass the Life Day orb to you.
All right. Let's see. Thank you to the folks who are already here in chat. We got Emily here, 8HVDES, A Lonely Girl, Altul Beware 2's here, Donk7, Drapsnat, Kitty Treats is here, and Squishy Twitchy, A Squishy. And thank you for showing up, folks. Let's see. Yeah, I actually just had Jordanian food, I think, for the first time. I mean, I've had Middle Eastern food, I've had Mediterranean food, but Jordanian specifically food I've never knowingly had before anyway. It's quite good. And it's very Mediterranean. So it had, like the rice with the sauces, and it had a little tzatziki on some of the dishes, and a lot of lamb was widely available and stuff like that. It was very tasty. Good stuff. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep. But anyway, so yeah, I was shut in for a week. That was all kinds of fun, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my colonoscopy, and then because of the snow, though, it took a long time to melt. So what was happening was, my wife has like a regular like 2-wheel drive type car, and I have the 4-wheel drive Subaru. And so when we saw that there was snow coming, we went to Les Schwab, had the snow tires put on, the studded snow tires put on. And the reason we do that is when it snows, then she takes my car. And but there was so much snow that even going a short distance to like the store or the gym, and sometimes the gym was closed too, more, the stores tended to get a little open a little earlier, but the gym was closed for a long time, and I just didn't want to take her car out because I would hate to like mess it up and then cause all kinds of problems. So yeah, I was basically like housebound for a little over a week, and I was getting really sort of tired of it because the only time I left the house was the one time to get a colonoscopy, which was like not a lot of fun. So
And
that'll teach me to leave the house. But yeah,
they messed up your date too, right?
Yeah, that was really not fun. I did a whole thing on cryptobiography because of it. Yeah, because of the snow, and they called me a couple of days ahead, because what this clinic does is they give you the day, but they don't give you the exact time until 2 days ahead of time. So that was going to be Wednesday, and then they were supposed to call me Monday and give me the exact time, and they did. They gave me the exact time, and it had already snowed a little bit by then, but there was going to be more snow Wednesday, and so I even asked them on the phone, like, are you going to be open because like of the snow and everything? And they said, well, we really, really try hard to stay open because we know that people are prepping for their surgery and all that sort of thing. So yeah, no, I did the whole prep, and then they called me the day of and said, no, we don't have the people here to actually do it. So yeah, so they gave me an appointment the next day. So I had to do another day of prep. So I had to stay on clear liquids for another day, which basically meant broth with nothing in it. I could have Jell-O, and then like Gatorade basically and stuff like that, like liquids. It was really unhappy. It was not a lot of fun. Like by the morning of the colonoscopy, I was like I was almost dazed because I was so low energy because like I hadn't had any protein, right. Calories were low as well, and just nutrients in general was just way off, and I was like nuts. It was nutty. I was so happy, and so right afterward we went to Jack in the Box and got a burger and fries. This is in the morning too, but like most people are buying like breakfast burritos or whatever they sell, right. And I'm asking for a burger just because I prefer a burger to all that other stuff. So anyway, and that was the only time. So yeah, I did, because of that though, because I was shut in, I did a lot of the dailies, especially Coruscant, to get the remnants collected. So I'm still working on that. Managed to get a couple more pieces. Like I'm at the point now where there's only a few pieces left that I need. I have like one set that needs 2, and then I have 4 or 5 other sets that need 1. And the problem is because it's random, it takes forever for the right ones to drop at this point. So I'm literally doing I find the Coruscant to be the easiest because like low level, super easy, nothing. Only one that you have to potentially wait for someone else to finish. Otherwise, you can just solo it and you can just go real fast through it. Because 3 of them are in instances, and then 4 of them has an instance before that. You have to collect something, and once in a while someone will have killed it all, and you have to wait. But normally it just goes super fast. And also because it's low level, like the kills go really fast. There's not any real difficulty level. I can just kind of turn my brain off, listen to something or watch a video and just do the dailies. And so I'm just grinding my way through it. It's also for getting like tech points and comms on alts, because I've got my main is kitted out, but like I have no alts that have max gear at this point. And this is on Satil Sean, my main server. So I did that. Yeah, so like I said, about 5 or 6 pieces is needed, and it's just random when I'm going to end up getting them all. I also, on stream, I did a bunch on Chill Echo. She is now a saboteur doing post-Corellia Flashpoint of Onslaught. She finished the Corellian Onslaught Flashpoint, which is basically the main, like, story that came when Onslaught dropped, and now she's doing the post Onslaught story. So she hasn't done any of it yet, but that's what she's going to do next. Because I want to do PvP again, I picked up Gamera today on Starforge, so I can be sort of warmed up and ready for PvP. I think later this week. I mean, technically, yeah, it's like the last week of the season or whatever, but obviously I'm not going to get that much done on the season, but it'll be nice. She's basically kitted out, except for her implants need a little more leveling, and I've got augments on everything as well. I spent some time on Starforge figuring out how to make the augments and the augment kits, and that's all done.
Wow, so she's 80.
So yeah, so she's been 80 for a while, and she's also got 340 gear all around except for those 2 implants, and those are just as high as I could make them, and then when they're at 340 I'll add augments to those too. Really enjoying that spec. It kind of reminded me, because it's a little similar, like Echo's on a Sentinel, and then it's kind of similar to Juggernaut, because there's some overlap there in some of the abilities and such. But I just like how the dot spec on the Juggernaut feels. Like, it really feels like it comes together for me. Like, I understand it and it makes sense, and
it's a fun one.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I did get a solo achievement that I thought you had to be in a group for, which was pretty cool. And this is on Satil Sean, where I don't get any achievements anymore, really, because I only get achievements when I'm doing group stuff now, because like all the solo stuff, I've kind of long since done. And it's the one on Ziost, when that enemy champion, like the world boss or semi-world boss, is sort of roaming around. That one, not the one that you go to and fight as a group, but the one that's like out kind of roaming around, and you can't solo him. You have to have a group for him too. But he roams around, and if you jump over him with that mission speeder, there's like you get the I think it's called jumping the rock shark or something like that.
Jumping the shark.
Yeah, and it turns out you can solo it without anyone. Because normally, what I understood is you had to have like a group, and then they would have a tank and some heals, and they would just pull the boss over, and then anyone who wanted the achievement can then jump over using one of the jumps on the green little arrow track. Well, as it turns out, you don't have to do that. So you can solo. Have you soloed it, or have you done that achievement?
No, the time that I did it.
Oh yeah, we're getting like a hailstorm here. So it's
we just had it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It headed
That's
your way.
Weird. Yeah, it's really loud here. So if it's bleeding through the mic, sorry about that. Yeah. But have you done that achievement, or do you know about it?
Yeah, I've got it, and we did it on a Jar Jar Joyride night.
Okay.
And we had a healer and a tank kind of keep him down right below the jump.
The first jump on the track, yeah. Well, as it turns out, you can solo this without anyone doing it, because the boss doesn't go over there normally. But what he does do is he does wander around a bit. It turns out that part of it where he wanders, there is a ramp, but it's not part of the green arrows. So I assumed it wouldn't actually jump if I went over it. But it does. It totally does. So you just take the speeder, you go up over to the left, so you kind of go off the track. You take the first jump if you want, and as soon as you land on the first jump, you just head off to the left, and there's this big sort of ramp-looking area with sort of a landing-looking area on the other side of the path, and that's one part of where the champion goes. And yeah, it will in fact jump over that thing, even though it doesn't show the green arrows there.
That's where we did it.
Okay.
I know exactly. It looks like it might have, it's like
wider.
A bridge almost.
Yeah, right. But it looks, it's like the bridge in Speed. It's kind of wide and semi-flat, but it has a ramp and then a landing area. Yeah, and your speeder totally jumps on that, even though there's no arrows there or anything. That's so cool. So I was able to solo it, which was cool. Now, unfortunately, that boss, he gets killed a lot, and he has a huge long reset time. And so I don't know how often you get a chance to do it, but if you're doing Ziost, you can get that achievement solo, which is cool.
And you gotta have good timing.
Yeah, it takes a little timing, right? It took me a couple times, because the first time I tried to jump and he wasn't quite underneath me, so I guess it didn't count. He was kind of close, so you have to be pretty exact. The second time though, because what I did is I angled off to the left so I could see exactly where he was underneath. and then I jumped where I figured he was, and the second time it gave it to me. So that worked pretty well. So anyway, tip of the week: if you're looking for an achievement and you're on Zeiss, you see the boss, you can totally solo that. Does not require a group. Oh yeah, man, whatever is dumping out there is definitely a hail, and it's pretty hard.
I have a window right up here that's a dome window.
Oh no!
It's like a drum.
Yeah.
And
bang, 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 bang.
It went off, and I was like, "Wait a minute! Oh, okay, it must be a hailstorm."
All right, but that's good enough to bring us to the actual tip of the week. And we got a tip from Ribbon today, and Ribbon says, "Hold on to extra reputation tokens after your weekly cap of a faction or event." And where they'll go to inventory instead of being used automatically. And then you can use those slowly and pop them for easy CQ objective when you need it. So don't rush to max reputation unless there's something you really want. With the reputation boost, it's almost 50% of a tune's CQ goal that you can do once each day. Oh, he means with the XP boost, yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, actually that's part of what I do now. Once you get a character to level 50 or higher, they will start getting conquest points, which is what he was talking about, the CQ or conquest points. You get conquest points for reputation. Before that, if you're 10 to 49, you won't. So before that, I use mostly influencer is like the big one to get to the 25,000 a day. If you're like new to a server and you're trying to get conquest points for seasons, then then I use it's influencer is the big one, and then I use some other ones, and we've talked about that before. But yeah, the reputation items definitely just go ahead and you just hold on to those, and then just do one a day, and then because it's a daily repeatable, so just get it that way. It works really well. It takes a little patience, and obviously you'll be coming back to the game every day, and as long as you're planning on doing that anyway, great. So thank you, Ribbon. Yeah, appreciate it. And Ribbon gets his choice of a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code or the M2B9 droid code, all courtesy of BioWare, plus a 450cc code from BioWare as well. So thank you for BioWare for the codes, and thank you to Ribbon for the tip. Yeah,
thanks, Robin.
Yeah, and it has been a while since we've talked about that. So yeah, you can sprint towards rep if you want, but you can also kind of spread it out. And that works really well too. That'll bring us to the mind trap. And Kitty, you had a good question for us this week. You sort of came up with this one. And so the question was, what would you like to see most in SWTOR in 2024? So we're at the beginning of the year, so good time to ask this. And what were the options? They were expansion, cross-queuing, Satil Shah and Starforge merge, or new playable species. And of course, if someone wanted something else, they could let us know as well. We got a pretty good amount of votes, 211 votes on it. And I was sort of torn between expansion and the merge between Satil Shah and Starforge. I think that would be really interesting. I do feel like at this point, Satil Shah is sort of suffering a little bit from the fact that Starforge is now like clearly bigger.
Yeah.
At this point, it's really hard. It's becoming more and more difficult to do like group stuff on it. And I understand that they're trying to, add more servers now with the APAC and so on. So they're not really looking to merge anymore, but that's like the one last merger that actually makes, some logical sense. So even though I'd love to see an expansion as well, I did sort of, decide to go with the server merge. How about you, Kitty? What did you choose on that?
I chose the cross queuing because doing the big merge, I don't know, that would kind of throw people's names under the bus. They would potentially lose their characters' names. Where if there was cross server queuing, it wouldn't matter at all. You just queue for whatever you want to, and I always in my head imagine that there's a button. Would you like to cross server queue? And you light it up, and boom, there you go. Right.
It's true that if they did the cross queuing, you probably wouldn't need to do the merger between Satil Shah and Starforge, I suppose. It'd be interesting to see that. I'm wondering if the cross queuing would happen on like the European servers, for instance, because on the one hand, it would be really good for queue times, but on the other hand, you might get situations where just people don't necessarily speak the same language, and it could be difficult for in PvP if you're trying to alert people of something, or whatever. But
they could do English
be interesting.
speaking.
Yeah. Right. Or maybe they could, at least give a warning. The warning cross queuing may, queue you with people who, are from these other servers who speak different languages or something. But yeah. Go ahead.
I had somebody in my chat last week was queuing up for mid B PvP on Satil Shan, and I streamed from 10 to 4, and they only got queued twice.
Oof.
And that's just that's rough.
That's really rough.
If you want to level up a character by just PvP, and you can't do it on Satil Shan.
Not really, no. Yeah.
It would take you years to level up your character.
Right. And maybe if you were doing it mostly on weekend evenings or something, it would come a little faster. But it's pretty rough. It is totally rough. I get it. That's actually why I'm, doing the Starforge PvP thing. So
yep, me too.
So hopefully, with luck, we'll see either cross queuing or potentially a server merge sometime reasonably, this year is the question. But anyway, so the expansion actually won. People love to see new stories. I get it.
Love it.
I was tempted to choose that myself with almost 50% of the vote, 47.9%. Cross queuing, actually second place was actually new playable species. People do love to see new playable species. Almost 30% of the vote, 29.4%. And so that's almost 80% between those two. Cross queuing was 13.3, and I was in the minority with 9.5% on the Starforge merger and Satil Shan merger. So let's see. Some people had some fun answers or interesting answers. Marcus B gave us an answer back. He said, "I'll be honest, I would love to know what is coming from Broadsword. The community needs to hear more about it, or needs to hear about it. We already understand that 7.XX content is coming, but we need more than that. And when can we expect a real X pack?" And let's see. And Zamzam would said, "I would be happy with cross-server queuing or Satil Shan's Starforge merge, but some news on expansion would be awesome." Kid Lee said, I hope people have realistic expectations for SWTOR moving forward. In 2 years, we don't even know if they'll be able to afford voice acting for the game. I would hope that would never happen, but I suppose it could.
Me too.
Let's see.
I'll do voice acting for you guys if you need it.
Shintar said, "I'd like an expansion again, but not this year, so I voted for new species because it's been a while. Mostly I want them to find their groove, keep the current update cadence rolling, and expand on that if possible."
Great point, Shintar.
It's pretty cool. Laura Wilson, that's kind of funny. The last name same as Jason Wilson, always Laura Wilson. That's nice. She says, "Chant Oricon Stronghold, Oricon Stronghold, Oricon Palace Stronghold." Yeah, it does have a certain appeal, doesn't it?
Yeah. Then in that way, people that are playing dark side like Sith would actually have a Sithy looking stronghold, which doesn't exist in the game at this moment.
Yep. And other people are wanting more story and various stuff they say, and that's sort of like the general theme is just people love to see new stories. One Admiral Cherry said, "Merge the 3 European servers. We need East and West Coast servers for North America. Plus that would force a lot of name changes." What you mentioned, doing the US ones would force a lot of name changes. All right, and let's see. So there we go. Thank you to everyone who voted or reposted and all that sort of thing. There were a couple votes on the Mastodon side, and basically, but it wasn't enough to really sort of bother adding all the information to this one. So it was all good. I still hope that at some point we can figure out a way to go beyond just the Twitter one, because Twitter's getting pretty patchy. So. Right, that'll bring us to the holo feed, at least by my standards, but whatever. So there's a few things going on in the news. Not a ton, they're still sort of I think they're ramping up. We know that in February they want to do a dev stream, so hopefully there'll be lots of news, potentially for even the next show. That would be awesome, but we haven't heard anything about it yet. But there was a patch. It actually just came out today, and so they have patch notes for it. It's a 7.4b, and this one is really, there wasn't anything too new. It was about fixes and bug updates and stuff like that. So, I mean, I can kind of go through it, but there's really not a lot that's other than just saying, this bug has been fixed, that bug has been fixed.
It all seems to be just kind of little things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all matters, but there's nothing that's definitely like, oh, yay, that got fixed, or, oh, no, I didn't know that was down. And
right. There's a couple of map and HUD updates that are kind of interesting. The HUD map will now correctly show the world map instead of the local map on area travel. So that's interesting. I'll have to see if I didn't really notice that as a change today, but hopefully that will help. The HUD map will now correctly display all map notes after traveling to a new area. And then the quick travel map notes will now correctly show as locked when they've not been discovered. Which is good because actually it is, at a glance, it'll be easier to tell. You kind of hover them and it'll show undiscovered, but before it used the same symbol for everything. And I did notice that today, is that they have a proper lock symbol, and I didn't even have to hover it to know, okay, yeah, that one I haven't been to yet. That was on OSIS.
I didn't see anything about it, but I know that I had some people in chat over the weekend and, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mm-hmm. They were talking about they'd get stuck in loading screens. I don't know. I didn't see anything in the patch notes about that, but maybe that was like a little fix that they did as well.
Yeah.
Because it seemed to have it was a larger patch than I thought it was going to be as far as information.
It was. Yeah.
So
yeah, it was like a multi-gig download. It was quite big. So they were definitely fixing things that needed, a big redo in terms of the downloads.
Yay! It was great. We love it.
Let's see. There were quite a few GTN updates as well, and a couple of them I do want to mention on. Actually, I did a fair bit of GTN selling this week on my Satil Sean sort of main bank. I just went into materials and picked out a bunch of stuff that I had like too much of, and just sold a bunch of it. And she went from she had about 250 million credits already, and now she has like just under 1 billion. So it's like, it's
Holy
a lot.
Crap.
Yeah. I have a lot of stuff just kind of hanging around because, I log on to people and I always do the crew skills. I'm always good about that. So there was literally a couple of them where I pulled out up to, I think the max was like 4 stacks of 9999 and just sold them all. So yeah, it was a lot. So for example, the AFK timer will now reset when interacting with the GTN. So the GTN counts for, AFK, anti-AFK, which is good. So that means if you're doing like a lot on the GTN, it won't just suddenly boop you out because you did, quote unquote, have been away from keyboard. So that's good.
Not like when you're making a character.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. No! So I'm always taking screenshots. Like, okay, so I know what the dials are at.
Right. Items and GTN searches will show as disabled if the player cannot use them. That's pretty cool. And the GTN will now record when players have claimed, purchased, or canceled a sale. So that's interesting. I don't know where the record is. I didn't try that today, but I will have to check that out. Let's see. An additional alert icon will now be displayed in the claim window when an item is close to expiring. So that's interesting. And that's actually a good idea because that way, like, if you're like thinking, oh, wait, should I buy that? Should I go and get some more credits from my, legacy bank and come back, or whatever? You'll know, oh, geez, that thing's about to expire. Better hurry up or whatever. So that's good. Let's see. Updated the GTN sell page duration timer to show more specific times. It now shows the highest 2 values. For example, days and hours, or hours and minutes. It's really nice. A lot of nice little fixes for the GTN since they did the big update. And they have done some other fixes, but they've been mostly like true bug fixes. And there's a couple of those in this list that I haven't included, but But yeah, some of these are really nice for just look and feel sort of thing.
I didn't see if they had the hide and seek bug that was happening where you didn't see the 340 gear options?
Yeah, I haven't been, I went back there and I tried it at one point. I think it was like right after the last show, and I just wasn't having any luck with it. So I haven't figured that out yet, if that's something I can fix or not. So, yeah.
Well, they know about it at least, because I know that they had mentioned it in either Dev Tracker or somewhere. I'd read it.
Saw something about it, yeah. So hope. Fortunately, it's like, even though I do a lot of alts, it's not really that critical to me. Like because usually like once, the reason I do the alts is because I just want to see them through the story, or I want to get them to 80. And then, the gearing up is not really that critical for me, but I get how it's, it's nice for people if they have like a small set, but they want all their characters to have, solid gear, and doing it through comms, takes a while.
Yeah. No, this was, the mission was, it was the mission.
Was it the mission, not the vendor?
To get the 340. So it was that hide that gives that mission.
I think
it was. Yeah. It just looked like there was a blank spot underneath it. So I don't know if that's fixed or not, but I do know that they're aware of it. So fingers crossed, because I know some people, definitely want to get their hands on that moddable gear. Heard that. Okay. The ability to mod out their gear.
Yeah. The dev team sort of seemed to be sort of related to this patch. The community team put out a special notes in addition to the patch notes. Said the disabled Master Mode Timed and Master Mode Survival Operation achievements have been re-enabled, which is pretty cool. When entering these modes, if any player joins with an active operation phase while the current group does not have one, it will force the group's difficulty to match the active phase. To set your desired mode, you would need to restart your active phase and change the difficulty back. So that's how that's going to work. Yeah, it's always tricky with those sort of things where you're not just doing an operation, which already there's a lot to deal with. If someone joins it, they have to let the person know that this one's already in progress, and that sort of thing. And now, if you're adding on special achievements where everyone has to be there the whole time, that sort of thing. So it's all good. And but to me, the most interesting bit of news was this last one, and it's transfers to Shea Vizsla server. It's not quite up yet, but they are talking about them again. This is from Jackie Coe. And Jackie said, following up on the transfer servers to the Shea Vizsla server conversation, we're starting a new thread to keep all discussion relevant to the info provided below. We will be doing transfers, which we knew they were. We just don't know the exact time. And we still don't know the exact time. This post does not actually address that. But it clearly indicates that it's sooner rather than later, because they're now actively talking about it. We will be doing transfers with a few limitations in place. They are the following. There will be a minimum character level requirement, specific level to be determined. For transfers specifically to Shea Vizsla, we are looking to provide free transfers for a specific period of time to players who have been a subscriber for at least 90 consecutive days. So that's kind of cool. So
that's a good idea.
I will have to decide when that comes. Am I enjoying the sort of like the gaining achievements that I've got in 2012, because it is kind of fun to see these achievements ding that I have never, that I haven't seen for ages and ages. But on the other hand, it's to the point where it's like, I would like to mount on the move and not have a 4-minute cooldown on my quick travel and whatever. Exactly. So I will be thinking about that really hard. There will also be a limited number of free transfers allowed.
Good idea.
I presumably would just be doing one, and it's mostly for the legacy stuff. There will be a credit cap limit per character. We are still determining the exact amount, which is pretty interesting. Now, of course, you can transfer over a lot of stuff as well, but if you bring over stuff, that tends to be anti-inflationary, because if you're putting up a bunch of stuff on the GTN, well, that doesn't make things more expensive. It helps makes things less expensive. It's only the actual credits that are the truly inflationary things that come over. And of course, we presume it'll be it's still going to be inflationary. Like, we know that, because I keep trying to sell stuff on Shea Vizsla, and it's like, stuff that would go for like, like simple decos that I got off of Galactic Seasons that would go for 40,000, 100,000. They go for like 5,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 15,000. There's just not a lot of credits on that server, so
exactly. Yeah.
Even if the cap is relatively low at like 100 million or 200 million or even 50 million, it's still going to be somewhat inflationary for sure.
We were talking about the other day on my stream what we're just kind of eyeballing what would be a decent amount to be able to send over with a character. And we were kind of thinking tip top would be $1 million. And maybe anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million credits.
Interesting. So like really low.
Yeah, I think it would behoove the server to not allow a bunch of characters or a bunch of credits to be flooded into the server. It would just wreck the economy. Right. And then also having a cap of how many characters you can send over.
Which we know that they are doing that.
Right.
At least for the free transfers.
Right.
I don't know about paid ones. They didn't mention that.
2 characters, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why you would need more than 2 characters over there.
And even if the limit is very strict like that, like if it is 1 million or 500,000, yeah, I mean, I would still not send over multiple characters, I don't think, personally. But, I see where they need to cap it so that they don't end up with a highly inflationary situation. One thing I might do, because I have no crafting on that server at all. My crew skills are really bad. Yeah, so I would actually send I would actually take a bunch of materials and just kind of put it in that person's inventory before I swap it over, just so I don't have to try to get all that stuff. Crazy. Yeah.
That's a great idea. I'm just thinking of all the stuff that I would have on that character. Definitely have hide and seek unlocked. Have the implant vendor unlocked. Have credits. You gotta have. You're right. Having some
materials for for whatever your favorite crew skill is.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe multiples.
You definitely need a spreadsheet.
I don't think I think I'll lazy it out a little bit more than that, but yes, that would be the smart way to do it. Yes.
Like, what are you sending over that I'm not thinking about?
Because I hadn't thought about. Yeah, it would be really nice to already have the the implant vendor unlocked, so you can just buy implants.
Yeah. And put implants on your character, and put, of course, the 340 gear that you want. You're going to want your implants that
right. You would want them to have done. Right. You would definitely having them have 340 gear would be nice, because that way, like if you do a daily area and then you have a box, well, it gives you 340 gear, and then you put that in storage, and your next character has a 340 piece ready to go. So yeah.
So you and I are going to have a powwow before we do
I think we're going to have to, yeah.
We're going to have like a circle of people. Check, all right, we got that. Like a shuttle launch.
And then she also said, as we work towards pinning down the specifics of these limitations, we will keep you informed of when transfers will be opening up. So there you go. It's going to be a little while still. Yeah. So if you're still enjoying, if you're still enjoying Shea Vizsla hard mode, it's still going to be that way for a while. And of course, if you want to, you don't send someone over, and it just, you just have to get your legacy up the old-fashioned way, which it does have some appeal for me. But I'm still not sure which way I'll do it. I'll probably end up transferring someone, to be fair. But yeah. Right, Kitty. And let's see. Is there anything else coming up, say, on your stream or anything like that?
No, nothing coming up. I'm excited. We're going to go grocery shopping tomorrow morning.
Nice.
And
plan out some meals.
Forward to it. Yeah.
Nice.
I love going shopping with Kitty Treats. We have a lot of fun. It's so dumb, but it's it's fun. I look forward to it.
That would be great. All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Ootini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our
Ootini Rage.
Guild on the Empire side. Do a C join Utini to join the Utini channel, then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast or Mastodon @OotiniCast@mastodon.world. You can find contact details on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, by streaming at twitch.tv/OotiniCast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thank you, chat.
And we'll see you next show.
Toodles.
All right. Go ahead and stop the stream, stop the